Hey, yo, I want to talk about my feelings on the Sonic the Hedgehog secret lair. Just not yet. That is ultimately the topic of today's discussion, which doesn't really include talking about the cards, but does include talking about this video. However, we have a journey to undertake together before we get there, so I thought I'd tell you all of this up top as I didn't want to be accused of burying the lead. Normally I put a lot of thought into my videos because I want to leave you thinking about something, but today I put a lot of feeling into it because I want to share and explore an emotional reaction that I had. Disclaimer, I'm not happy. See, I watched the video reveal for the Sonic the Hedgehog cards and I became uncomfortable, maybe even upset or insulted, which is an experience that has influenced how I view the cards themselves, and I imagine I won't be the only one who's experienced this. So as I display these cards, know that if you already feel the way that I do, then this video is for you to know that you're not alone in that feeling. And if you don't have that feeling, then this video is for you as an attempt to express exactly what that feeling is, because I imagine you're going to interact with other players who have had a similar experience to my own, and it's an experience that seems to be happening more and more frequently in Magic lately. And quite frankly, finally this video is for me too, because even I don't fully comprehend my reaction to seeing these reveals. Do I lack context and I'm upset over nothing? Am I rightfully pissed off after having been needlessly patronised? Am I just scorned because Magic has moved on and is no longer interested in courting my business? Or perhaps something else, I don't know. So maybe together when I read your comments below we can come to some sort of understanding as to, I guess, what this means for Magic going forward and where exactly we are. Looking at these reveals had an impact on me, and it's a similar impact that looking at the SpongeBob cards had on me. I couldn't see this crossover without being reminded of corporate greed, how likely it was that a bunch of Hasbro executives gleefully arranged to create these cards not for the sake of any kind of artistic intention, not for any kind of gameplay benefit, not for any kind of joy for the players at all, but just for money. As I said in my video covering them, a soulless cash grab. And while that's not the exact experience I had with the Sonic cards, I do want to begin this entire discussion with something I said at 2 minutes 52 of my SpongeBob video about Magic. Ultimately, we're discussing a children's card game. Then at 3 minutes and 7 seconds, how you choose to enjoy a children's card game is no concern of mine. And finally at 10 minutes 58 seconds I said, is this really what I should be thinking about when trying to play a children's card game? Oh, and for context, the thing I asked if I should be thinking about there is Hasbro's involvement in modern slavery. But that's not the topic for today's discussion, go watch that video if you want to know more I guess. But back to my quotes, and there's an obvious phrase that connects them. Children's card game. Magic is recommended ages 13 plus, and I'm happy to call a 13-year-old a child still, so I didn't think much of this when I said it or saw it as much of an issue at the time. But then I read the comments, and you know what? Yeah, I hear you. I may not fully agree with everything that you all said, but I get it. For me, the phrase children's card game wasn't meant as an insult or to somehow lessen Magic's importance, financially, culturally, or personally, but I can fully see how what I said could be construed that way. And understanding why people were upset about this miscommunication, I think is actually the first step on today's emotional journey. So now, I'm going to do something a bit unconventional. I'm going to take some time and read those comments. Some important things of note before I do. First, these are not my words, these comments are real, written I assume by real people. Second, I'm not going to display the original text because even though they were posted publicly under public usernames, still feels a bit weird to do that. Third, please don't track these comments down or harass the people that left them, that's also weird. Fourth, please bear in mind that everyone's entitled to their opinion. Fifth, because even I don't necessarily agree with or support every statement I'm about to read out. But sixth, these people care enough to not only have watched my very niche SpongeBob video, but also have left a comment. And that's all any of us are really doing, discussing the game, so I think they have a right to be heard, even if not necessarily agreed with. Seventh, I've done my best to find every applicable comment and leave none out regardless of tone or opinion. Sorry if I missed any. Eighth, no, I won't be making a habit of reading comments like this. Ninth, well, I am going to read these comments word for word. 10th, I'll only read the sections that specifically apply to my having said children's card game and not the rest. 11th, you may have already gathered that this will take some time, so if this doesn't appeal to you and you just want to get to the highly emotionally charged point that I'm making, you're free to skip to the end. But 12th, I hope that you don't skip ahead and do listen to what these people have to say, as with the point I'm making, I actually think the journey is more important than the destination. Right, and with all of that being said, let's zoom in. It's not a children's card game, kids don't play this game, adults do. See, your message is why this stuff exists. You're a big part why this goes on. You hate that MTG is doing Universes Beyond. You hate that people will be playing these cards in your games. Grumpy old Dick dissuades you from having a good time. You're not a grumpy old dick, you're the average audience, no one wants this, but they buy it because of toxic positivity. Take ownership, don't go halfway, go all the way, these products are killing the game. I'm only 3 minutes 51 seconds into the video, but man, I really miss when Magic wasn't a child's card game. I hate that excuse because Magic always felt like the TCG not for children. While I mostly agree with what you're saying, Magic isn't a children's card game. Pokemon, definitely. Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, that's become more of the teenager version of card games. It's ridiculous, but MTG has become increasingly complex and always appealed to an older audience. You might argue they're trying to snag kids with loot, but this game is barely accessible for kids. Calling MTG a children's card game always felt like it was a strange way to try and negate any passionate argument in favour of improving the game. It's for children only in the sense that the base requirement for playing is being able to read. It's very much a game for mature adults. All you have to do is try to imagine explaining the rules of the game to a child and get them to play a game of its most popular format to see that it's a bad argument to make. Like, sure, don't blow a gasket over it, but let's be real, we're passionate about the game because it's a rich, strategic, mature game and we don't want to see it watered down too much. I know the phrase was memified by Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, but I hate how readily the phrase children's card game is so readily used to trivialize and dismiss so many discussions surrounding card games. Not to mention the fact that I do not think games or media for children are somehow lesser or unworthy of merit or critique. In this case, I understand why you might have been invoking it to deflate tension around a contentious issue, but the point still stands, if something is just dismissive epithet, why even bother discussing the issue or dedicating a channel to it? Is the game worthy of analysis and critique or not? It's children's games all the way down. Whether it's brewing a road deck to stomp your F&M or pooling 5% of your country's GDP to shoot a tiny tin bucket past the Carmen line, men are born for games, nothing else. Should I retake that one? Whatever. The average player is 30 according to Hasbro, and the target demographic is lifestyle gamers aged 13 to 45. This is hardly a children's card game, and this SpongeBob Secret Lair is targeted at 1990s kids. In my opinion, WotC is creating products that their main demographic enjoy. I don't want SpongeBob cards in my deck, or Avatar, or Spider-Man, but we need to recognise that Magic as a whole has changed. We now have in-universe Hot Wheels, A for Drift, Cowboys, Thunder Junction, Film Noir, Murders. The bottom line is the game may not be seasoned to everyone's taste, but that's okay, it's only a game. MTG is ages 13 plus, not children's card game. I feel like calling Magic a children's card game is only able to be done if you don't look at the price tag. Pokemon is a children's card game, Magic is for people with disposable income. I hate that people couch their opinions behind it's a children's card game. Since when is it a children's card game? That's a joke from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridges series. It has nothing to do with Magic. It's like calling D&D a children's make-believe game, just have your opinion, you don't need to self-consciously lessen them through degradation of the topic itself. A children's card game, it isn't though. Literally, nor was it ever. MTG has always been the mature card game for teens and adults. At no point was it ever a children's card game, which exactly why a SpongeBob collab is so egregious. MTG isn't like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Digimon where the original audience is kids. MTG was always aimed at an older and more mature audience. Calling it a children's card game isn't even just dismissive and belittling, it's also straight up wrong and incorrect for MTG specifically. I agree with everything you said, except Magic being a children's card game. Sure, some aesthetics, like this one, make it cutesy, but calling this a children's card game isn't accurate. Has Magic ever actually been a children's card game? It worked in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, well, it was a children's card game. As far as I know, the original game was designed without an age group in mind. Why do people say MTG is a children's card game? When in MTG's history was MTG produced for children? Okay, you're cool, but Magic is not a children's card game. If we were talking Pokemon TCG, yes, maybe even Yu-Gi-Oh!, but Magic has never been made for kids. I got into it as a teen and there was this zombie with tits right above her open protruding ribcage. Crypt Keeper that my dad hid away in the bulk box. There is depictions of violence, gore and sinister characters like this card with a torturer standing over a blood table covered in his tools, with flavor text above how much fun he has, hired torturer. It's leaning more into children's card game these days, but Magic was not that. It is a complex game with darker themes sometimes. I honestly love that aesthetic, I think Spider-Man is awesome and he is child-friendly, as most of the cards these days, but that does not mean that Magic is a children's card game. At least it wasn't always. Children's card game? Eat my ass! MTG wasn't for children, that wasn't MTG's original demographic, and it still isn't. Hasbro's official website lists the age demographic for MTG as being 13 to 45. I gotta say, there's a lot more years between 18 to 45 than there are between 13 to 18. While technically correct, while I hear children's card game referring to a game you need a full-time salary to afford, I can't help but laugh. Is it really a children's card game though? The average age of a player has to be like 30-something. And I have nothing to back this statement, but I have to believe the average onboarding for I have to believe the average onboarding for a non-Nepo player is in their 20s. Oh, that's got to be age. Okay, I'm going to do this again. Okay, hang on. And I have nothing to back this statement, but I have to believe the average onboarding age for a non-Nepo player is in their 20s. There we go. Some time ago, I was annoyed when people called Magic a children's card game. Now I just have to accept it. I take issue with the definition of Magic being a children's card game. Not that there's anything wrong with children's games, and I'm not implying that they can never be complex. But Magic was never a children's game. Come on, literally from conception it was a game meant for nerds. Some children will love MTG, but it's more because those children like nerd shit rather than MTG being a children's game. This is a disingenuous point that is made to dismiss us when we push back against some of this garbage corporate decisions. A way to tell us it's not that deep bro, it's a children's game. As if we were speaking about Paw Patrol or Bob the Builder. We definitely shouldn't be accepting this definition. This is not a children's card game. When have you ever seen kids play this at an LGS or anywhere else? They can't even afford it. I feel MTG was not a children's card game. They are still trying to turn it into a children and adult children card game, killing the style that separated MTG from other games. This card game is for children that are 13 years old, not children underneath ages 13. But it doesn't mean children who are under 13 doesn't play it. I remember the art have blood and gore to the point of saying, should my 9-year-old kid should be playing this card game? I remember a little girl who was 7 years old and she was the best Magic the Gathering player ever. I think she would be upset that SpongeBob and My Ponies got mixed into the game because not every children are zombies that will beg their parents to buy something. Companies are tended to forget children are smarter than they look. I think the term children's card game is a rather naive way to refer to Magic the Gathering. The "it's a game for children, so why do you care" argument has never been valid. Children deserve quality too, if not even more so. So that's a pretty wide array of responses to my children's card game comment, but all of them seem to me at least in agreement that Magic isn't a children's card game. Obviously not everyone who watched the video commented, so perhaps there's a silent majority out there who feel that Magic is a child's card game, but I don't think so. This video isn't my "no, it's the children who are wrong" moment, because I'm not going to stand by my initial casual statement and say what I said was correct. Hang on, no, it's the children who aren't wrong? No, it's the adults who aren't wrong about the children? Whatever. The Sonic the Hedgehog Secret Lair. This may already be sold out, I'm not even sure when this is going on sale. As the professor pointed out in this video recently, Secret Lair's limited availability model creates haves and have-nots, which mean FOMO and is bad for the players. But as I pointed out many months ago in this video, being bad for the players through FOMO was the intention. Secret Lair was always designed to suck. So yeah, the reason I don't know anything about these Sonic Secret Lairs is because I don't want to know. The entire Secret Lair system is rotten to the core, which means it's seemingly functioning as intended. And why waste my time learning about how to buy a product when chances are I couldn't get one even if I wanted one? Which in fairness I don't, but still. The cards themselves within that product are a different story though. And now I find them fascinating to look at, in a kind of uncomfortable way. I played Sonic games as a child, but I'm not really into the fandom or whatever. I know there were some TV shows and comic books, but nothing that I ever watched or read. And I have no idea if they're even still going. In fact, if I were to imagine that these cards were designed for children who engage with Sonic today, I would have assumed they'd look less like the comics and cartoons and more like the movies. Because surely that's how children who are fans of Sonic would be currently most familiar with the character. So if these cards were intended to be sold to children, shouldn't they look like the movie versions? And the fact they don't, I think, supports the idea from those comments that Magic is not a game intended for children. And hey, disclaimer, just to be clear, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being an adult fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm a talking cartoon cat, for God's sake. If anyone gets it, it's me. I'm just saying that, while yes, I don't like any Universes Beyond, I don't like these Sonic cards specifically. But that's not because they're Sonic. I think it's to do with how they were presented. Let's talk about this video. And in fact, you know what? Go watch it, right now. I'll put the link to it in the description below, right beneath the one for my Patreon. Hey, come support me to bring you more videos like this one. But for real, pause me, go watch that video. I tell you what, I'll even blank out the screen so you know you're not missing anything. You don't have to watch it in its entirety, just the first 30 seconds will do. And after that, feel free to skip around a bit if you like. Normally I'd say you should watch a YouTube video from start to finish because that helps the creator with the algorithm. But Gavin Verhey's channel, Good Morning Magic, is a marketing wing of WotC, and this video is just an advertisement, so I don't personally feel the same moral responsibility as I would for a smaller creator. But for real, go watch and come back. I'll wait. Right, are you back? What the fuck was that? Seriously, what was that? Why is Magic the Gathering like this? Why are we being spoken to like this? Not a kids game, lest we forget. I suspect the instinctive argument to my outrage is, oh, it's only a bit of silly nonsense, Magic's a dumb game for kids, not worth taking seriously or getting upset over. Right. But remember all those impassioned comments I read out? About how wrong I was when I said Magic is a children's card game? I think those comments are right. So if you and I are the intended target market for this product, because we play Magic and we're not a child, then why are we being marketed to like one? Human behaviour is creative behaviour. Sentience and the desire to create art seem intrinsically linked. Each and every one of us is an artistic being thanks to our very nature as a living being. The world around us is our canvas and our actions within it are our brushstrokes upon it. Whatever this was, it was a creative choice. One that took more than zero effort. So what is this? Who is it for? What does it say about who made it and what they must think of us? What does this intentional brushstroke upon the world's canvas say? And why does looking at it upset me so much? Is it an office in-joke between friends put on public display? A joke that I'm not in on, is that why it makes me uncomfortable? Is this actually great marketing and because I don't read the comics I just lack the Sonic the Hedgehog comprehension to appreciate it? Is it that this is innocent fun, Magic doesn't matter, and I'm just a miserable shit soured by cynicism and made uncomfortable by an expression of pure nerdy joy? Or is it the act itself that's at fault? Is this creative choice by spokesmen of a business a slipping of the mask, revealing a corporation's desire to infantilize us, their player base, for greed and profit? I said in this video that one of the sins of Universes Beyond is that it's cringe. But you know what? That's not what I felt when watching this reveal. Cringe is when you feel embarrassed on someone's behalf because they've exposed something within themselves that hasn't been embraced. For something to be cringe, it first needs to be honest. And that's just not my read on this at all. I think there's calculated intentionality here. So what do you think was the intent? I can't put my finger on exactly what's amiss after all. It feels like this is how a business would try to appeal to children. But am I wrong to be so repulsed by this? To discover how I'm viewed in their eyes? Or do you think my instincts are right and this is WotC showing their hand and revealing exactly how little they think of us? And finally, is Magic a children's card game? Not worth consideration from the perspective of an adult consumer. And if you're about to say no, take a look at this image, consider how WotC think you need to be treated, and ask yourself how sure you are of that. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to everyone that supports me, like 27 publications, Eggboy the Particle that permeates all existence, Blank Space, Wanpako Jozu, Miss Murder, a random Patreon, and the rest of my patrons whose names are on screen now. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video, me and my Patreon page, where you can get your name credited on screen too. Check it out in the link in the description below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, install an adblock, most importantly subscribe and share this video with a friend. Hit the notification bell and do all those things the algorithm loves. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, or if you want to see me do a video on another subject, let me know and I will see you next time.